I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you think about how the Capitol Police handled the coup? And do you think that they were underprepared, or do you think they were underprepared on purpose?
I think they were underprepared. I'm not gonna go as far as say on purpose, but
Hmm.
regardless, they were underprepared, and there's just no justifying it. Like somebody should, a lot of people should lose their jobs. A lot of people, and that mayor should be on a hot seat. Like, how the fuck does that happen? How
Yeah.
the fuck do regular Joe? How the fuck does Duck Dynasty literally walk into the fucking Capitol building and
Well, you saw like cops letting him in. I mean, that was insane.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
and
I don't think it was on like I don't want to sit here and create a conspiracy. Sure,
it's not a
could
conspiracy, man. They were letting him in.
want to what
They opened a gate, man. They opened a gate and was they opened a gate. There's a video of a congressman letting him in the
I
back
have
door. You have
I
cops
haven't
taking
seen that.
selfies with some of these guys. Like it's
Yeah, I saw the cops taking selfies with them. I
like
think I think it wasn't on purpose in the sense like I don't think these cops thought that this was gonna break out into that. Like I think initially, like,
come on, man.
oh,
You
they're
really?
trying. I don't know. I look. Do I think that? Listen, I'm never gonna give these cops. A lot of these cops have wackadoo beliefs. Just because they're cops and they put on a badge, you don't think they're not conservative or they're not
Most of them are
liberal.
conservative.
Like a lot of them are conservative.
Most of them.
Like
I
being in
would
the
go far into say
yeah, a lot.
most.
A large like in the
Yeah.
being in the military. Like in the military, the majority of soldiers in the military are conservative.
Yeah.
I would say 70% of them,
Yeah.
right? Like just offhand, right? So yeah, do now does that mean that they would allow this to happen? No, I'm not
No,
saying that. But would I say like do
some
I
would.
think
That's my point.
some would,
And some
yeah,
did.
and some did. Now, what's that number on the pie chart? You want to say out of like 100 Capitol police officers that day, 80 of them let protesters into the building? No, I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
I think there was a small number of them that, and they all should be held accountable, and they should all lose their fucking job and probably face prosecution if that was the case. You know what I mean? I think to me, I think this just speaks on, and I know, there's white people that were getting annoyed with me, but I think it just highlights the further discrimination and discrepancies on how black people are treated and people of color are treated compared to white people. I mean,
Yeah.
this is there's just no way you can tell me that that's Black Lives Matter trying to storm the Capitol building, that we don't have a massacre. And thank God, by the way, thank
Yeah.
God that
And but
that
also
didn't
you can't
happen.
convince me that if that's Black Lives Matter, there's not more cops there and
Oh,
that the
absolutely,
National Guard's not there.
absolutely.
They're
I
more
think
prepared.
so. Yeah, okay, I take it back then. I think then it was on purpose, but I don't think it was on purpose for what people may think from a conspiratorial standpoint. I think it was done on purpose because they felt like it was a bunch of right wing nuts, like a bunch of Duck Dynasty motherfuckers that they never probably expected to break into the Capitol and potentially cause some shit. Like I don't think they expected that. I don't think they expected that. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think they expected that.
I think they did.
Hmm.
I will fully admit that it probably is a little conspiratorial, but I think that just taking context clues with how Trump has been talking about the election being stolen, how they riled up that base, how there was a rally, them going to that building, and then you mix that with the fact you lighten security. I think that's just a disaster waiting to happen. I think that they and what's also this is a huge thing to take into consideration. A lot of these people are Second Amendment like nuts. They are. So
Yeah.
you don't be having weapons. Like
Yeah.
this is a group of people that regardless if you align with them politically, if you're gonna have people bringing weapons to these things, you need to be as a police department, you need to be more armed. You need to be able to handle just in case some things go wrong. Your job as a department is to outnumber whoever you are against just in case things go wrong. You can't make the assumption that they're going to storm the Capitol. I understand that might be a little bit too much, but when they did that things with Black Lives Matter, I mean, it was like four times as much as security as it was before. Then on top of that, you have congressmen going through the back door, letting these people in. You have police, Capitol Police removing gates, waving people to come in. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it seems like in some aspect, I'm not saying every single Capitol Police officer that was there was in on it, but I think
Yeah.
that it was some sort of inside job in the sense where it's like we're not going to put too much security. And I think that a lot of Capitol Police made a decision that I politically align with these people. I think this election was stolen. If they want to go inside the Capitol, fucking go inside the Capitol. I don't care. That's what I think happened.
Not the first time I've heard that theory. A lot of people have shared that with me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I don't.
Maybe
This comes from
maybe I
my
just
and this comes from my distrust of police. This comes from my distrust of
oh look,
authority, and this comes from the simple fact that listen, we just said it. Let's be honest. Police and military in this country are right wing. Period. They are, and it comes in different forms. You could be right wing, and I know for a fact there was probably some officer there who was right wing, but was doing his job and was like, you know what?
right,
I might agree with this, but this is my job to protect this house, and I'm gonna let it happen. And it
right.
doesn't mean that there were other ones who let them in and were
Absolutely. Yeah.
like, and to me, having that little of police there was just on. It was on purpose, and it was asking for disaster. Period. I think they knew exactly what was going to happen. You cannot tell me that you expect the president to rile up his base like this. And on top of that, these things were on right wing social media websites saying
Right.
that
For weeks. Yeah.
this is what we're going to do.
Right.
That- You're going to tell me that the intelligence community didn't know this? You didn't know that this was going to happen? You didn't know that this was an actual possibility? Even if you didn't think they were going to go through with the threats, the fact that the threats were there, the fact that the plans were there, you need more and better security. And they just didn't come through with that. And that was done on purpose. I don't care what anybody says. Now, again, I will fall back and say that is a theory. I'm not saying it's a fact.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will admit when it's a theory. I'm not going to come out and be like all conspiratorial and like, this is, but when you put two and two together, man, none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense.
No, bro. I mean, honestly, like, I, I just don't want to believe it because that to me scares me more than anything else. The fact that this could have been an inside job, the fact that the police had a hand in this, maybe
Yeah,
the military had a
and I
hand
don't
in
think
this.
every single one of the
Like,
Capitol Police had handed it.
right.
That's not, I don't think the whole department was in on it, but I do think that the fact that
Select
you send
folks
out
act, yeah, bad
yeah,
actors, bad
you send
agents.
out you say, okay, we don't need the National Guard. We don't need this many Capitol Police officers. We'll have Capitol Police officers because it looks good. And
Mhm.
then those Capitol Police officers did what they did individually. I don't think any Capitol Police officer talked to anyone in higher power who was like, oh, we need you to let them in. I don't think that's what happened. But I do think a lot of police officers made the conscious decision to let them in because, hey, I agree with this shit. I'm a fucking Trump supporter. I think the election was stolen. Let's let him in. And I think one of the biggest lies we tell each other, or one of the biggest lies this country tells themselves, is that the FBI, Secret Service, cops, military, that they're all apolitical and they'll do whatever it takes to protect the country first. That is fucking bullshit. It is bullshit. And I know it's an unpopular thing to say, but it's fucking bullshit. These
I'm
people
with you, man.
they have
I'm with you.
political leanings and they're not apolitical. And I think right there,
People, they're people. Like
yeah,
this
they're
idea
human
that,
beings. They're human
yeah.
beings.
Yeah,
So I
they're not above mistakes. They're
no,
not above taking things too
not at
far. They're not
all.
above, I mean,
Not at
any of
all.
this shit.
And
So,
shout out and also shout out to the Capitol Police who actually did their jobs and tried their best because there were. There were. I
yeah,
saw videos of them pushing
yeah.
back and doing what they I'm not saying that every single Capitol Police officer was there like that's not what happened. But there were some that did. And there were not many reinforcements, and not having that many reinforcements, that was done on purpose. I'm sorry, it
Like,
was.
how do you? It's just a failure on all levels. And how does this happen? Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen? Like,
This
again,
wasn't a surprise rally. This was
no, this
online.
wasn't a surprise rally. And it's and
We
like
have
to
an
me,
intelligence community. Yeah, we
that
have an
mayor needs
intelligence
to face
community
some
that
scrutiny.
yeah, we have an intelligence community that is made to prevent things like this from happening. They knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew this is on Parlor. This is on different far right wing websites. You know this was going to happen. We already know right now they're planning shit for the 19th and 20th. We know this
You know
already.
what I mean? Yeah,
We know this.
yeah.
This is not a secret. It's not a secret. So they should have been prepared. And they were woefully unprepared. And you can't tell me that wasn't done on purpose because this is the fucking United States of America. And when we feel like we need to protect something, we fucking protect something. We have the largest military budget in the fucking world. Do not tell me we don't.
750 billion.
Give me a fucking break, man. That shit was
750
done on purpose.
billion, man.
You can't. I'm saying it's a theory. I want to put it out there. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm putting two and two to fucking together, and that's what I'm deciding to believe.
No, man, I can't even say you're wrong. Like, I
Yeah.
just,
You don't
I'm
want to believe it. That's what it is. Because if you believe it, then you have to accept some certain truths about certain things. And
it's not even that. You're not the first person that's brought that to my attention, and I've been like, huh. And then I've seen the videos. I haven't seen all of the stuff like the congressman letting somebody in the back door. I haven't
yeah,
seen that for respect to that. But I did see, the police officers with the selfies. I did see a lot of different videos, and it's sickening, man. It's sickening. I have no words for it. It's just I'm choosing to believe that it was. Do I think that some things were done on purpose? Yes. Do I think some things were done on purpose? I don't know how far I'm willing to go as far as, again, where are we going to put that on the pie chart? 100 Capitol Police, 70 of them did it. No,
No,
I'm not.
I
And
don't
I'm
even
not
think it
saying
was a
you are either.
majority.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
and
you are
I want to
either.
clear it up. I want to clear my statement up just because I know if people listen to this, like, oh, he hates cops. He thinks no. I honestly don't even think it's the majority of the Capitol Police that did that. I don't. I think most of them actually tried to do their job regardless of their political backgrounds. I do think they were Trump supporters in the Capitol Police on the front line, trying
Mhm.
their best not to let people in the Capitol. I do. I absolutely 1000%
I
believe that. But it
I'm
only takes about like 10 people,
Yeah,
15 people.
it only takes what
Yeah.
10, 15 people to
Yeah.
actually, make some shit like this happen.
Right.
I think I'm willing to focus more on this was a failure of a failure on a leadership level. Like, why did it take the National Guard so long to get there? Why?
They didn't have them get there. That's the problem. They restricted them from getting there.
Well, yeah,
They
there you
didn't
go.
call on
That's
them to
that.
get there.
That's that.
They asked to bring it over and they said no.
Right. That's that. Where was the FBI? Where was, I mean, the Secret Service? Like, where were any of these government agencies?
If
Like, the
and that's what I'm
fact
saying.
that you
If
knew,
Black Lives Matter absolutely voiced that, said, hey, on this day we are doing this and then doing this, not only would there have been Capitol Police, there would have been FBI, there would have been the National Guard, and there would have been snipers on every fucking roof
so
in Washington, D.C. Period.
DC has DC police and there's also Capitol Police, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, where was hell? What was even the DC police? Yeah, I, I have no, I can't say anything to you, man. What can I say to you?
Yeah, and you can't tell me you didn't think they were going to be violent. That's the thing. It's like, well, we didn't know they were going to be violent. Really? Have you been reading right-wing websites? Have you been reading these
Yeah,
presidents' tweets? They're complaining about an election they think is stolen. Like, what do you think they're going to do?
I think it's more. I think it plays more to. I think they fear black men and black people and people of color in general than they fear white people. I think they
1000%.
kind of. I think they felt, oh, this is just going to be like 10,000 angry white people who are going to yell and scream and kick and shout, but eventually they're gonna. And I'm not decertifying what you're saying. I'm not
No, I get it.
delegitimizing what you're saying. I'm just saying that that's what I think a lot of them felt. Like, I think from a leadership perspective, I
And,
think they probably felt, and that in itself is wrong because if you didn't take that seriously enough, if
right.
you didn't understand, if you weren't able to read the moment and read the room, then that in itself is a failure. But I just think that that just speaks to they are afraid of brown people with a cause. I'll just put it that way.
1000%. 1000%.
You can't even argue it. I mean, you can't even argue it.
But it's so obvious. Like, this is not even like, and I'm not
And
saying
then
I'm not saying my theory is I'm saying that the disposition between what would have happened if it was a
yeah,
BLM
right.
protest is so fucking obvious. And it's okay. Listen, my fellow conservative friends, it's okay for you to admit that. You can still be conservative. You can still be conservative. Be
No,
conservative.
that's not on brand though, man.
But it's okay. Be
That's not on
conservative.
brand.
You can
That's
admit
not on
this.
that's
You
not
can
on
admit that
brand though,
black people
man.
would have been different. It's okay. It's
That's not on
okay. You could
brand
go
though,
back to being
bro.
conservative and wanting lower taxes and you can do that and
That's
deregulation. That's fine. But
but
let's have
that's
an
not
honest
on brand.
conversation here about race. Because
That's
if I can't have an honest conversation with race about you, I don't believe we live on the same fucking planet. Just admit it. It's okay.
because again, they won't admit it because then that would actually take them to because they know they're full of shit.
Because they know they're full of shit, and then they would have to reevaluate everything they believe in.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. Like the fact that people are saying say her name to this stupid idiot that
Oh my
that
God! Don't get me started. Oh man, I forgot about that. That was
you're
out of my
literally
head.
gonna do the thing that literally millions of people marched all summer. Just like so jokes write themselves, man.
Bro,
Jokes write
and the
themselves.
cop that they killed. Where's Blue Lives Matter? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? And for the record, for anybody
Oh
who thinks
man,
it's
it's beautiful.
who thinks it's contradictory for someone like me who marches in Black Lives Matter protests to be like, why do you care about cops now? My mission in marching for Black Lives Matter protests was never to hurt a fucking cop. Never wanted to
No
hurt a
one.
cop. It was to make
I don't want to
cops
say no
and the
one.
criminal justice understand what is going on in the black and brown community in regards to being disproportionately affected by the criminal justice system. It was never to say, fuck cops, we want to kill you all. That has never been the message. So it's not the fucking same thing. Yes, I cared that a cop was killed. Just like I cared that 2 cops were killed in Dallas that one time during a BLM march. I don't fucking condone that. And BLM does not condone that. We are not marching because we hate cops or because we want cops dead. Okay? If a cop were to die during a BLM march, I'd be just as fucking infuriated. So fuck you. I am dropping f bombs, man. Jesus
Hey
Christ.
man, I love it. I love it. I don't want to be the only one dropping f bombs on every show. I love it, man. You're seeing the
It's
dark
true,
side
but I
finally.
hate the fact that we get this rap that we hate police officers. And I don't hate
Because it's
police.
because again, it's narrative driven. Because
I
again, this
know,
is
but like,
they can't argue you on the issues, so they want to meet you on like these like phony, fraudulent, like, oh, you're a communist and you hate cops and you
no,
this and you're an
it's
anarchist. Like you're an anarchist because you believe that black people's lives should matter and that
fucking
you want to
crazy.
hold the justice system accountable. You're an anarchist,
Yeah,
which
but
totally goes against what an anarchist is, but whatever. Not to
exactly.
mention, like it's just stupid because again they can't face you on the issues. They can't argue on the issues. So what they try to do is just
Right.
they try to deflect.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always said like they don't want to or actually have a discussion on the issues. So they
Because
want to deflect like the whole
because
thing with the
all
defund
the
the
data
police,
is on
right?
our side. All the data,
Exactly. The data's on the side, and I think that
the optics are on our side
the
too.
optics on our side, right?
Yeah.
So like even with the defund the police, they don't actually like, oh, the name. You
That
can't run around singing like this stupid bitch Abigail, whatever her name is in Virginia. Oh, if we start running around this country telling them to defund the police, shut the fuck up. Like, like, really? You're hung up on a name? Seriously?
that would
Defund the
actually make the
police
cops'
scares
jobs
you?
better. By the way, it would make the jobs easier for police officers, which is a thing that I advocate for, that you advocate for, and people who say defund the police. It's like, hey, let's take some things off of your plate so you're not
I
overwhelmed.
live in Seattle,
Yeah.
or I live in the Seattle area, right? The Seattle metropolitan area. Their police budget is 300 million, and education's like 18 million.
Like
Like
what?
seriously,
Like you you
seriously.
you can't give a couple mil to education? Like no,
No, not just a little bit. We
no.
literally have a homelessness crisis. We
Right,
literally
right.
have a homelessness
We
crisis.
we can't give
But
some housing a little.
but no, we can't even take like 25 million out of that
No, we
330
can't.
million to just say,
Oh,
you know what, we're gonna give that to the homelessness crisis
right,
and actually try to have a full good faith effort to try to fix the homelessness crisis.
right,
No, we're not gonna do that.
right.
No, no,
Oh
no.
yeah, yeah. We
No,
need
cops need
Teslas.
tanks.
We need
Cops need
Teslas in New York
tanks
City. We need
and
Teslas in New York City.
cannons.
Give me a break.
Cops need tanks and
That's the thing.
cannons.
It's
That's what they
and
need.
which also would make their job easier, because a lot of the problems that police face when it comes to them being in danger is because of socioeconomic issues. People are acting out because of these type of issues. So yeah, do you want a better? If we live in a better society, you're going to have less problems
Who
to deal with
knows?
as police officers.
I don't know if these people have ever thought about this, but maybe if you don't dress your police officers as an occupying military, maybe people would not be afraid to talk to them. I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm not an expert, man. I'm just a guy with a fucking microphone. I'm not an expert.
I'm just a black guy living in America. What do I know?
What do I know, right? I don't know anything.